We gave you the better weather than rock, by the way, so just put that in the back of your mind.
They might open that roof, I hear.
Maybe, but the hot bats for the Orioles have been somehow hotter than the temps here at 99 degrees earlier today. What have you seen from this Orioles offense? Because this isn't exactly what we were expecting. They've overproduced.
There's a lot of potential in this offense. I mean, you got Adley and Gunnar for the entire year. I think a couple of the key veterans, we call them veterans, they haven't been playing that long, guys like Hayes and Mountcastle and Mullins really are motivated to take their games to a higher level, Mel. And, you know, Mullins, a 3-for-3 start against left-handed pitching, that's tremendous. Mountcastle getting a couple walks the other day. Hayes is now really concentrated on using the middle of the field, and they grinded at bats beautifully in Boston. I think that was really something that skipper Brandon Hyde noted, how well that went for them there.
And you take a look at what they've been able to do. You're hoping that they can back up some pitching that can get them a little further and ultimately save the bullpen. So let's get a look at today's starting pitching matchup presented by Sandy Springs. Sandy Spring Bank, looking to cover all your financial bases. Let's talk. Visit sandyspringbank.com/real today. The righty John Gray taking the mound for Texas. You can see a 7-7 record last year. ERA just south of 4. He has introduced a sweeper this year, so we'll see how that ultimately plays. Taking on Kyle Bradish. The numbers just really not reflective of how he ended his 2022 season. We got to see some amazing performances for Bradish, both against St. Louis and Houston. Some of the biggest moments of his life, and he delivered. You see here the four-seamer, slider, curve, changeup, and you only see a little bit of the sinker. 4% that will be way up this year. He introduced that in the second half once he came back from injury to prevent injury. But what is it to you? Because this is a guy who no doubt should have made this rotation.
I mean, I just love the confidence he showed and he pitched with in the second half last year. He wasn't pitching good. He was pitching great. The guy's putting up zeros against the Houston Astros twice. I mean, it was just phenomenal pitching by Kyle Bradish. You know, he's got enough velocity there to throw the ball by hitters. He's really honed his secondary pitches, and the confidence was just oozing in the second half. Now, I mean, in the last 8 starts, his ERA was under 3. So this is a guy they're really counting on big time. We know the starters did not have a good series in Fenway Park. The Orioles would love for Kyle Bradish to be a tone setter here tonight.
You've seen a lot of Orioles teams come through here, and you get some of that young hope every so often, but that doesn't always pan out. It doesn't always translate. How do these guys get that actual confidence that we have seen grow, but what's the magic that brings that out?
Winning. Winning. I mean, you know, last year taking it to 83 wins was so big for the Orioles, and we're going to see how they deal with more pressure this year because they're a little more of a marked team now. Everybody, as we've heard people say, we've heard the Orioles say, they're not going to look past us or they're not going to take us lightly or whatever. Does that happen? Maybe it does. I don't know. We can't put a stat on that. We got a stat for everything else in baseball. But they're just going to have to get back on a roll again like they did last year. They hope it starts here against the Rangers in this series because every win, every loss counts, right? If you get that close, if your margin is that thin for postseason, and it may be for the Orioles, they want to get it on a roll soon.
Well, and of course, this starts with the minor leaguers, who everybody's been waiting for to finally come up, and some big news for the rest of minor league baseball throughout the last week. We mentioned this yesterday on O's Extra, the fact that the Players Union had brought in the minor leaguers, all 5,500 plus of them. It passed with a 99% rate. Now, it was expected at some point this week that major league owners would vote whether or not they would ratify this new 5-year CBA for minor league baseball. It did get ratified earlier this morning. This is going to happen. Minor leaguers are about to have a life-changing experience when it comes to playing the game. Steve, how can you even sum this up, just how much this changes things?
You know, a few years ago, they were kind of an overlooked group. Now they have a union and they have benefits. And I think since Major League Baseball has taken over the minor leagues, there was some criticism. Yes, they cut some teams, and obviously, it was really difficult in some beautiful areas, but look at how it's better for the player now. There's less travel for the minor leaguers. The pay is obviously tremendously better. They're talking now even about pensions and medical coverage and things that was a dream for minor leaguers before. They were living 4 and 5 to a house. Now their housing is paid for. They sleep on real beds. They sleep in nice furnished apartments. And again, the travel is better. The stadiums, they're improving facilities. So everything is geared to helping these young men be better ball players players and get to the major leagues.
And of course, that means it's going to be even more exciting because it's going to be better talent that's coming up here. Steve, thanks as always for breaking down a little bit of everything.
You got it, Mel. Absolutely.
Good to see ya.